Okay, I do have to say, I totally, for some reason, envisioned us on the floor
I did too at first. Like,
with
I have all the...
blankets and carpets in a circle with candles and us leaning on beanbag chairs.
I did too.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm contributing that to the falseness of TV of the 90s, making it seem like shit like that's real. Because I tried a little. I have a pillow.
And we have pajamas.
Yeah.
As well. No, I had that vision. I was like, we'll hang out in the corner, like the crystal corner, and it'll be perfect. And then I was like, where are we going to set up the recording stuff?
The important shit, I was just envisioning, I don't know. We were just hanging out. I was just picturing us hanging out, I guess.
I know. I hear you. I was
good.
like,
all right, that makes me feel a little bit better then.
right? You know what? I should probably turn off the AC.
Oh.
But if we get too hot, we will just turn it back on.
Yeah. That's fine. I'm gonna eat a Sour Patch Kid.
Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna...
I brought you a bag, dude.
Oh, shit.
It's
Awesome.
sweet and sour.
Oh, yeah.
For only $2.
That's awesome.
Inflation hasn't touched that shit.
Welcome to the Coven Slumber Party with Ray of Blackheart Arts and Sarah of Calling Corners, where we break down and geek out over the witchy, magical, mystical media of the 80s, 90s, and more, and try and fill that video store-shaped holes in our hearts. I'm Sarah.
Oh, I'm Ray.
And I hope that's good enough, because I'm only going to do it the once.
Sounds great. I just had, while you were doing that, I was, looking around, and I was like, oh, so precious.
Right?
Oh.
It's a great sleepover location, this magical retail outlet.
Yes.
Welcome to episode 15 of the CSP podcast. In this episode, we are hearkening back to our formative years, that delicious liminal space where magic just might be its most potent, conjuring, effortless, ritual, its most uninhibited and unexplained, and spellcrafting beautifully weaves itself into life among sleeping bags, popcorn, midnight sodas, rounds of truth or dare, and talismans obtained from older siblings and video stores. We're talking about the celebrated cultural covens of middle schoolers, dating from the 1900s to present day. The sleepover party, the slumber party, bunking party, pajama party. Let's dig into this often overlooked subculture and important rite of passage, because there's always something to discover there. As folklore scholar Alina Mansfield says in her essay, Slumber Parties as Rites of Passage, a good slumber party inevitably leads to the supernatural. We're going to go ahead and say we're wearing pajamas.
Yes.
Ray, do you want to explain your pajamas?
I am wearing pajamas that I made, and I said to the world, these are pajamas now, but really they're just other clothes. Shirt with the beautiful photo of Tom Hanks on the cover of Burbs on there, holding the spatula, and I'm wearing some sweet fucking rainbow Kangles
I love those.
that I got from Winners.
So my pajamas are also just other clothes.
Soft clothes.
It's like soft periwinkle. What is this, like velour fake or whatever?
It's very exciting. It's very exciting.
Periwinkle velour pants. And
Periwinkle velour. That is a great drag name.
that is actually. I love that. And Goosebumps shirt.
It's a beauty. It is a beauty.
Also, I feel like we're going to sound like robots because these mics have kind of an odd robotic vibe to them. So
I'm going to try to lean into that then.
So if you don't like it, apologies. We're testing out some new mics here. I do think we're going to sound like robots a little bit. However, this is the first time we podcasted in the same room together. Mm-hmm. I know we mentioned this before, but we are a pandemic podcast. This is literally the first one that's taken place off Skype.
Yeah. And it was a good one. It was a slumber party because, why not?
Right?
We're the PJs.
Getting social with only each other. Really? Cause
that's max capacity.
The smallest gang possible.
Yeah, I talked to the pizza guy.
Yeah.
End of day. I'm done.
Social quota met.
Oh, totally.
The end.
I made eye contact and everything.
Perfect. I would say we're shooting this, but we actually don't have any video footage of it. We're recording in the shop in Calling Corners on the candle bar, eating pizza, drinking Dr. Pepper out of, what did you call it?
Champagne flutes.
Plastic champagne flutes.
Just because,
That's what we had in the back room for some reason.
I got a pile of sweeties on the tiniest little fancy napkin that I'm assuming goes with the champagne flute.
Yeah.
In some manner.
So, what?
What was that?
I
Ooh. No, I just heard a sound and I was like, is
Could
it
be
haunted?
It might be haunted. It might be just people upstairs.
Oh. It's probably the people upstairs, Coleman.
But we don't know for sure.
Oh, Sarah. Bless you. Thank you for going with me there.
Let's start with the candy.
I have to say that this one was a little tricky. Nerd rope.
What is nerd rope?
Okay, I'm glad you asked.
Oh,
so
explain, please.
it is basically like a sweetie rope with nerds. But that really is what it is. It's like kind of like a Twizzlery nib sort of, but encrusted with nerds. So in theory, the texture combo should be disgusting, but it's not.
Sounds like some pretty good alchemy.
Because, like, you think about nerds, just popping nerds in your mouth and chomping them. That's a lot of crunch.
Yeah.
But then you put a soft, like, it's like a flavor of a Twizzler kind of thing, but, like, even, like, a little softer, gooier.
Oh, that's like what the rope is made of.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a sensation.
And it looks like work, like you take
Oh,
that
it
to-
is fucking work.
Yeah.
When you bite, it's not like you're able to pull it away and be like, successful bite. It's like you bite and you're like, I guess I go again. And perhaps again and again.
Okay, what's your next candy?
Oh, Jawbreakers, for sure.
Jawbreakers are work, too.
So I don't think anyone else likes them for slumber parties.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm like the only one.
That could be true.
I remember getting them for friends and getting them for my nephews and stuff, constantly being like, you gotta have a jawbreaker, and you just like see how far you get in the night, and everyone would be like, my tongue is bleeding. I'd be like, fucking do more. We have a double feature tonight, guys.
New candy that I love that I would bring to slumber parties if I still went to slumber parties.
Yeah, okay.
So I got us some.
Oh, they're in little boxes.
Which color do you want?
I don't know.
They're exactly the same.
This
Sure.
blue?
Yeah, so let's pop these open.
Oh
So
my
this
God,
candy,
Coleman. Fuck off, this looks beautiful.
it's beautiful. So this is, it's popcorn.
Yeah, okay, I'm like, how does this classify as candy, but it's also candy?
So it's called unicorn popcorn.
Yes, this is from Bulk Martin, isn't
It is from Bulk Barn, and it is like the most delicious. It's somewhat like soft, like
I
a
love
little
it.
sogged, but like in a great way.
Oh my God, my dude.
And then
I
what
got
would you call
this
this?
before,
Like, it's so good.
and it really was, I was like, one off, I'll just try it.
Oh man,
Devoured the whole thing in like 10 minutes maybe?
so good.
Oh, cheers, my dude. Is it caramel and something, or is it just like a sugary glaze?
So that's what I was going to ask you. So
What
for
is
those of
it?
you who can't see this, I strongly recommend getting it from Bulk Barn or
Yes.
Googling it.
Yes.
But it's like a sugary coated piece of popcorn with like drizzle of pink and blue
Like icing, I guess.
icing,
My mouth is like, I have so much going on.
right? It's amazing. It's
so good.
magical.
I have to say, though, one of the things about it that I really like is the texture.
Yeah, I love it.
That it's kind of like,
Soft.
I was better yesterday.
Yes.
Vibe.
Okay, so where did you start with, I guess, all of this?
See, the thing is, like, I'm just learning more about myself as a human than that. I don't know who I am. This is all that I'm getting from the slumber party episode, is that I don't remember my life. I don't remember what I did. I don't know why people were friends with me.
I don't know why people were friends with me. I was such a weirdo.
A lot of layers, and I'm just like, oof.
That was the interesting thing about wanting to talk about slumber parties is like, well, is there like a witchy angle? Is there an academic angle? What did I do at slumber parties? And like you, I only had like 3 memories, and they were all like 2 minutes long.
Right? And that most of them have nothing to do with me. It's like someone else did something, and I'm like, ha ha ha. Or like, oh, that was bad.
I know that I always talk about how I don't have any money, and that's true. I don't. But I got annoyed because I'm trying to study some research here, pick out a few like things like historical, whatever, bits and bobs about slumber parties. And a couple of the things that seemed interesting I got from an article. The Daily JSTOR, Justor, I don't know if you say it or just pronounce the letters, .org. But it was called Slumber Parties and Folklore. And so that's the first thing that popped up for me. And I started reading this article, and it seemed really quite neat, and we'll link it in our show notes. They reference a few academic papers. Clearly people have done like actual research on slumber parties. I was like, I gotta check that shit out. I went to get them, download them, read them, and they all cost money. So I spent $40 on just
Fuck off, Coleman.
literally on academic papers.
about slumber parties. How are you not covered in like gold fairy dust, like floating through life constantly? This is
Because I can't afford it.
That is just so cute.
Oh my god. I didn't mean for that to happen, but it ended up happening.
It happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So one of them that I found that was pretty rad, actually, was the first one that kept getting referenced. The first one that I paid for.
So
Ghosts
beautiful.
and Mirrors, Reflections of the Self, an essay from the Journal of American Folklore from 2005 by Elizabeth Tucker, an associate professor of English at Binghamton University, which I think is the New York, a state university in New York.
Mm-hmm.
She seems so dope. So yeah, Ghosts and Mirrors was really rad, and the reason that it sort of came up for when I was doing the research for the slumber party was because mirror magic, which again is kind of like, what would you say, like a novelty classic fortune telling thing that people have done like over time, like young girls especially, but like have used it as like a party activity. I guess. It means different things or whatever, but it kept coming up. So this paper was about ghosts and mirrors. Ghosts and Mirrors is called, and it was like about mirror gazing and like how kind of this Jungian idea of like animas, which is like the masculine aspect of you coming out in a visual way when you like kind of stare too long in a mirror. And then it was the animus, and I can't remember what the female version was called. Yeah, animus and anima. So the anima would be like the feminine version coming out of you when you gaze too long in a mirror, that sort of thing, right? So it was just kind of like, it's relatively complicated and frankly a little dated in terms of like gender stuff.
Yeah.
But it was really interesting, and then it goes into like shadow selves and ghosts. So like mirrors just like were a huge part of this whole thing about sleepovers and being social and magical. So essentially that's what the paper was. I can't remember exactly where it was in this paper, but I started taking notes about getting scratched, how there seems to be a lot of like slumber party activities that involve supernatural elements where you get scratched, and I was like, that's odd.
It is weird. The list that you sent of horror games, the number one thing on the list was cat scratch.
Yes.
And I remember when I was looking through, I was like, all of these sound stupid, and all I remember is Bloody Mary. But
Yeah, me too.
I read how you play cat scratch, and I was like, oh no, that definitely happened.
Yeah, so we were both looking at this website. It's called scaryforkids.com, I think is what it actually is called. Again, we'll link it in the show notes, but it has all these slumber party horror games that are pretty old school, you know. And one of them was cat scratch, which we'll get to explain the rules of that. But I was reading the comments. Did you read some of the comments?
I didn't read the comments, no. Reading the description of the game and examples of stories was enough to have me. I was like, this is amazing. They're so bad, but so great.
This is called Scary for Kids, and I'm like reading these alone, being like, oh, what was that noise? Like,
I had to stop.
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I had to stop at some point because there's like a kooky picture of like a lady being scary,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm out.
So under the cat scratch game, which I think we should explain the rules for in case anyone's out there with a friend right now listening that may want to try it.
It says cat scratch. Wow, let's do that with a friend. Cat scratch is a scary game for kids to play at sleepovers.
Yeah.
In case you didn't
And also
know.
37-year-old women, because I was also scared.
It's fine. It involves telling a scary story about a cat. This game is also known as cat scratches and black cat scratch. So basically, step 1, you sit down on the floor. Your friend lies on the floor on their back with their head on your lap. Everyone else sits around in a circle. Step 2, you rub the person's temples in a soothing motion as you tell them a scary story about a cat. And then they give you examples of cat stories. And I can read them, but they're weird.
They are I remember them being weird, but if you want to read one.
Sure, there was once an old lady who owned a cat. The cat was very nice. It meowed and purred. One day, the cat got hit by a car and died. Cat scratch, cat scratch, cat scratch.
Oh yeah, you have to say cat scratch.
Yeah, the old lady got a new cat. The cat was very mean. It hissed and clawed. Cat scratch, cat scratch, cat scratch. One day, the cat got hit by a car and died. The old lady decided to not get any more cats. Cat scratch, cat scratch, cat scratch. I read that and I was like, what the fuck?
That's the whole story, right?
Yeah, that's it. The end. Step 3, the person gets up quickly and you pull up the back of their shirt red claw marks will appear on the person's bare back, but they won't feel a thing. Yeah. Reading that, I was like, oh no, I feel like we did do that before. I did that somewhere.
It definitely seems familiar.
I think it was a little bit cooler of a story than an old lady had a bunch of cats that kept getting hit by a car. I think the story was cooler.
That story is so stupid. Like,
so stupid. And then it's just like she decided to not get any more cats.
It's like
Good
anticlimactic too, right?
Good choice. That's how you do it. Cat scratch, cat scratch, cat scratch.
Here were 2 comments that I screenshotted.
Yes, please. I'm so glad you screenshotted them, yes.
This first one is from Shadow Lord 007.
Fuck yes.
From April 2018.
Mm-hmm.
At 4:02 a.m.
Oh.
Sorry to say, you all know this is not very good. It is a demonic ritual and you are putting your lives in danger. Same as with Ouija boards. Please do not try this. It's for your own safety. And then the other one was from T-Bean, also from 2018.
Okay.
I don't need this as I already get enough scratches from my cat, which I thought was awesome.
That actually is good.
But I wonder, I was like, is this Shadow Lord like trolling? Because I know a lot of people do tend to kind of, they're like the harbinger or whatever in the horror movies. They're like, don't do the thing. And
all I have in my head right now is like that old dude from Friday the 13th. It's like, there's camp blood.
Right?
That guy.
Mm-hmm. I'm just
internet version of that guy.
Yeah. But just like this idea of people that warn against. That was another paper that came up that I read. It was like a girl talking about her experience going to sleepovers and stuff. And I'll get to it. She was saying that some people stopped going to the sleepovers because like their family warned them. You know, they were like, this game is demonic or this puts you in touch with Satan. It's like, I can respect if that's your opinion. Mm-hmm. For me personally, it's too entwined with films like that tried to scare people at the time. Yeah. The Exorcist say and
which
stuff.
Worked. I didn't touch a Ouija board for a long fucking time after I watched that.
Right. Or like I bring it up pretty much every episode now, but like Satanic Panic again when we're talking about like 80s, 90s sleepovers. Mm-hmm. Warning against it is so counterintuitive. Yeah. They're just gonna want to do it more.
I was not that kid. If somebody was like, Satan's gonna fucking crawl in you if you do that, I'd be like, I didn't really want to anyway. I didn't have any balls. I would have been like, but I think I hung out with a good amount of people that would be like, fuck you, yeah, right. Right. I'm doubling down. Right. I'm doing it all day and night.
Yeah, and I know we've had conversations about that before too. That's not to say that negative stuff hasn't happened or no, I shouldn't say negative, but creepy or unexpected things. I don't see it as being any different than like people warning against, you know, drinking.
I have a really hard time thinking that any of this stuff is a direct line to Satan. Yeah, because first of all, I don't believe in the God dude upstairs. In turn, I don't believe in the devil because the narrative is entwined, right? Something, sure, but not Satan and not God. But if you say something bad, which to me, honestly, is way creepier because it's like a fucking unknown.
Well, you can apply your own values and morals and
and my brain doesn't like me, so it's just like, well, I'm gonna make you think of the craziest fucking shit. I don't want to take away from the value and hope and everything that people get from it because it's fucking invaluable for them. I get that.
Totally.
But when it's kind of put on me as if I have to change the way that I live and decide and move through my life, it irks me.
It irks me too because I think kind of what you said before hits on it. It's like if that's not the narrative or the spiritual narrative or whatever, however you want to word it, that you believe personally, it's almost the same as if like I don't watch Harry Potter, so this is dumb, but it'd be the same as if I had religious value with the Harry Potter series and then was like, oh, you do this, well, Voldemort's gonna get you. It's like, that's meaningless to you because that is not what you subscribe to.
That is such a beautiful way to put that. Holy shit. I love that a lot.
Thank you. But that's the idea, right? It's like kind of what you said before. Yeah. If you really want to reach someone, which I don't understand why you would want to take away the autonomy of somebody's beliefs anyway. But if you really wanted to try and reach somebody, don't use a template that you don't know if they think is valid.
They might not subscribe to that shit. So you saying something to them, if like honestly,
what's the point? I guess what is the point at the end of it?
What
is
the
why?
point? And it's all just very narrow-minded, I guess, too, to think that your God is the one God. Mm-hmm. There's literally thousands. Mm-hmm. That it's like if you go to a different part of the world, People are going to be probably as much, perhaps more, you know,
polytheistic or something like.
Yeah, like it's just, I don't know.
No,
Everyone
you're right,
needs
though.
to just like chill a little bit.
They do, and that's why I get annoyed at people like Shadow Lord 007 because it's like, what?
Right, this bitch. Yeah,
because it's like, what are you doing?
Also, where's the proof? Where's the fucking proof, bitch?
This is it. Also,
show me the fucking. What did Satan do?
Let's see the receipts.
Yes.
How would I pronounce this last name, would you say?
I don't know.
So I'm not going to try it. So I'm just going to say Linda D-E-H. Linda D-E-G-H.
And there's like a little
accent on
the E.
Yeah. I don't know how you pronounce her last name, and I feel really bad about that because she has some great stuff here. So she was a legend scholar.
Whoa.
Which is awesome.
Dope.
And was it Elizabeth Tucker that wrote this essay? Yes. Mm-hmm. She references this legend scholar. So, quoting the essay, it says, according to Linda D-E-G-H, again, I'm so sorry, I have no idea what I'm talking about for names. The key to Mary Worth legends is believe and trusting. Children who are willing to take the risk of summoning her are rewarded with a glimpse of her face, while non-believers are punished. Although I agree that belief and trusting are important, I find the process of daring and testing, an initiation of sorts, to be even more significant.
Oh, yeah.
An older woman, a mirror witch, which I love that term, a mirror witch.
Yeah, I'd want to somehow be that.
Right? Right? Puts children through a fear test that may result in a painful scratch. The mirror witch inflicts pain when it's appropriate to do so. What I found interesting about that, the daring and testing thing, is like an initiation. So it's like, it's very witchcraft-like.
Yeah.
Which is super cool because I started to think about it and I was like, there's so many similarities between a coven or like just individual witches and witchcraft and the initiations for that and things that go on in these like sleepover games.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. Slumber parties themselves, like by their nature, so the pre-adolescent, adolescent circuit of kids that would attend these parties was like casting a circle in witchcraft because you're locking in a space surrounded by like sleeping bags, kind of like I said at the top of the podcast, and movies and friends and junk food, like we are now, to be honest. We got like this casting of a circle with pizza and champagne flutes of
popcorn.
Dr. Pepper. And it creates a safe space where you can build energy and power and cause things to happen. So Elizabeth Tucker, I got a couple other quotes from here that I thought were interesting. She says, numinous and death are vital aspects of the animus in college legends. So that's going back about the animus, like that
male?
masculine possessor within you kind of thing. Which is interesting because college legends kind of, the people are a little older, but it's very similar to the same culture as like slumber parties and that sort of thing, right?
I don't know, I guess. I didn't have a dorm or anything like that when I went to university. So.
Neither did I. But I had a couple friends that went to other schools that had dorms, and it was very exactly how I see in movies.
All of my information on this is based on TV shows that I've watched.
Mostly for me too.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and then she says, college bathrooms are well known as sites for spectral appearances. My thought, ghost sightings and conjuring, with reflection or without, is probably our first experience with shadow work.
Okay.
It makes sense in pre-adolescence that we'd not want to do shadow work alone, hence doing this stuff at slumber parties.
Okay.
Or in college
I'm with
dorms,
you there. Yeah,
I feel like.
Okay.
I mean, no, it's
just
not like
instinctually you wouldn't, and you're like,
instinctually, because you're not going to be like, I'm gonna go back into my psyche here, and I'm just gonna do some shadow work. When you're 12, you don't know what that is. Like,
no.
Or, I mean, 12-year-olds might now. I don't know. I didn't know about it. It's like...
Yeah, that's true. Times are so fucking different now.
So different. And then I also kind of was thinking when I was reading that, so mirror conjuring, mirror scrying, mirror work. Could this all be an expression of our subconscious that we already know all the answers we're seeking from within?
Don't tell me that, because then it's gonna make me feel real weird.
Just like the concept of like looking at the mirror to get these answers, it's like you're going to yourself. I don't know, I just thought it was really fascinating.
I like that idea, but also that terrifies me for some reason.
So responsible.
It's like somebody else help me out, right? It can't just be me.
No.
That's stupid.
That is stupid.
That's stupid.
And then a couple other things that I found interesting just in that essay, which I want to milk because I paid $20 for this
yeah.
thing. So It says, Jungian psychologist Richard Frankel has pointed out the need for adolescents to undergo rites of passage, some of which are ritualized death experiences followed by a symbolic rebirth. And I was like, that sounds intense, but essentially that is like light as a feather, stiff as a board, cat scratch stuff.
Oh, that weird Sandman one
The
that we're going to talk
Sandman
about
one.
because that one was creepy.
Yeah, we can talk about that one too because I found that one creepy and the comments were also hilarious.
Okay, good. But that is one I remembered someone doing to me and I like assisting someone in doing. I remember that. After I read it, I was like, fuck. In Sydney. So like there was like one tiny little window in my life for like a year where like I had a bunch of friends that it was like the first time I guess I had a bunch of friends my age that I could walk around and whatever, because before that on the res it was like you just don't leave your property,
right
and there was no one around. It was like dirt road, so
yeah,
big year. And I remember that
played Sandman.
After I read it I was like,
do you remember if it worked? Should you go on here and be like, yes, works,
it worked for 100%. Me in 1995. Wow. Yeah, no, it worked. I remember after reading it I was like, no, I do remember feeling really weird and being like, my arm. I never played that one, and we should talk about that. Like you can go over the game again for that one in case anyone out there is listening wants to play. It did seem kind of neat. Remember, you can always go to scaryforkids.com and take a look at all the spooky things you can do. Which freaked me out pretty bad, so I have to argue that it's not just scary for kids. But it's like but that one, the first cat scratch story, was the first thing I read, and I was like, oh boy. So I'm just going to finish that thought while you're looking for that. Yes. Okay, this is actually a quote from another essay, but it reminded me of that symbolic death rebirth thing. So I got this from a paper called Experimenting with the Occult, the Role of the Liminality in Slumber Party Rituals by Annalise Ferris. So she said, just on that death rebirth note, during a slumber party, girls engage in many intimate, collaborative activities, including more seemingly solemn rituals like light as a feather, stiff as a board. Such games play around with death and resurrection themes, and by placing the girls in a trance and one of the girls in the role as corpse, they imitate the death and rebirth experience of a neophyte in an initiation ceremony. God, can I talk? The girls play at being socially resurrected by others as they combine their intangible power and strength and put their hands together in mutual affiliation, literally and figuratively supporting and lifting each other up. Yeah, so it's talking about like the death and rebirth thing, but like in a social dynamic. It's so pretty and empowering, right? Aww. I thought that was sweet. I really like that. I did too. I thought it was adorable. And it makes it seem less like when you hear it's like kids are reenacting death and rebirth. It's like, yeah, but that's legit life. Yeah. That is life. Yeah, and it's more beautiful and nuanced than just that like titillating sentence. Sandman game. To play the Sandman game, you need at least 2 people. Step 1. One person lies down on the floor on their back. Everyone else sits in a circle around them. Step 2. You tell the person to close their eyes and relax. Then you tell them a scary story about how they were injured or died, and then they were cut open and filled with sand. You can make up your own story and have it as elaborate and scary as possible. Tell the person to concentrate only on the story. Whenever you are talking about the body part in the story, such as the arm, leg, or stomach, you run your finger lightly up and down the person's body part. Step 3, tell the person to open their eyes and get up. When they try to stand up, they will feel very heavy, as if their body is filled with sand. It is cool. It sounds cool. I never played it, but I did catch one of the comments on the Sandman scaryforkids.com comments, and it was by Jaslyn752 from 2012, and it says, but if you do play and if they do feel like they're filled with sand, then how do you make them feel like they're not filled with sand? Like, will they feel that way forever or what? Which I like to think is a serious question. I really like that. I did too. I found it very endearing. Also, to skip back, because this is example of scary story number 1. And I read it and I was like, who the fuck wrote that? There was a mother who had a young son. He was sleeping one night. His mother walked into the room quietly. She cut open her son's arms. Then she put sand inside. She cut her son's legs open. Then she put sand inside. Then she cut her son's stomach. Then she put sand inside. When her son woke up in the morning, he couldn't move. I was like, what the fuck? Judy's not waking up in the morning. He is not waking up in the morning. Excuse me.
I'm going to go ahead and say somebody that was 9 years old made that story.
Yes! It very much gives me Erie, Indiana. Like,
Totally.
Mom with the Tupperware.
Yeah. Tupperware mom, yeah.
It is a thing I remember doing. And I remember doing it to other people. But it was one of those wild card moments, you know, where it's like some other kid that you don't hang out with that's not from the street was like, hey, I'm going to like show you stuff. And then they like leave and you're like, how did they do that again? What do you do?
If any of you guys out there have played Sandman with any success, let us know.
Also, another one that I remember vaguely is Concentrate. Some people say that it's a form of hypnosis. The object of the game is to find out how you're gonna die. Okay, so can we just skip to the options of how you're going to die? Because I read all of the things and I was like, wow, these stories are really something. So basically, I'll read one of the examples of what to do. It's like after the person opens their eyes, you ask them what color they saw, and the color will dictate how they are going to die. So these are the only options, apparently, that there are. Red means they are going to be stabbed. So straight out of the gate, you're getting moited. Blue means you will drown in water. Yellow means that you will be poisoned. Orange means that you will burn to death in a fire. Green means that you will fall from a height or die on grass. Purple means you will suffocate. Brown means that you will be buried alive, because that's a thing that happens in the world. Gray means that you will die of a disease in hospital. The only one literally that sounds moderately feasible. White means that you will die of old age and go to heaven. And black means that you will die of old age and go to hell. The stories are basically someone closes their eyes, and like you pretend like you crack an egg on their head or something, and your fingers go down as the yolk drips, and you say concentrate, concentrate, concentrate kind of thing. You trying to put them under, quote, hypnosis, unquote.
Now, did you say you remembered playing this one?
This one I vaguely remember around, but I don't. Actually, I feel like it was maybe the same, like, dude.
Right.
I feel like he came in hot one afternoon and was like, here's a bunch of shit. And he was like, gotta go, bye.
It's just so interesting to me that those are the ones you picked that stood out to you, those games, because this other paper I got on the subject was called Experimenting with the Occult, The Role of Liminality in Slumber Party Rituals by Annalise Ferris. She's specifically talking about Cat Scratch,
Awesome.
Sandman,
Weird.
and Concentrate.
Fuck off.
I'm not joking.
That's so weird.
Yeah, because they're more rare than, like, Bloody Mary. So yeah, I just thought that was interesting that those are the ones that you were like, huh, memories and compelled to these.
Huh.
Yeah.
I do have to say, as a side note, I did really like the breakdowns on scaryforkids.com of Bloody Mary.
I'm obsessed with this site
Sorry.
though now. It's so good.
The Bloody Mary legend, they talk about it, but I think we all kind of know, you know, Mira and Bloody Mary, say the name. Ooh. But then they talk about all of the potential different Marys. Did you see that? Like,
I saw it, but I didn't read it. So you
Mary Tudor, Mary Worth, Mary Worthington, which I think is one of the ones that they do on Supernatural. It's Mary Worthington, Mary Wales, Elizabeth Bathory, blah, 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 blah. And then there was one, Mary Lou. And I was like, Mary Lou was a girl who lived in the USA in the 1950s. At her senior prom, I'm just looking at Coleman's face. She was crowned prom queen.
Uh-huh.
Someone decided to play a trick on her.
Did they throw blood on her?
No, they set off some fireworks. Her dress caught fire and Mary Lou was burned alive. That is the plot of Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2.
Yeah, it is.
So I was like,
yeah, it
wait,
is.
What? Did they
just add that one after watching Prom Night 2, Hello, Mary Lou? Wow.
I love that a lot.
That's
I love
awesome.
that a lot. So yeah.
Let's conjure her.
Yeah, I would.
And that's actually one of the things in the Alina Mansfield essay, Slumber Parties as Rites of Passage, actually about the Bloody Mary thing that I thought was interesting. She said, when young girls test themselves by summoning Bloody Mary, or yes, any of the Marys.
Mary Lou.
Mary Lou Mahoney, I think was her name in the movie or something like that.
Oof, that is a...
She was a babe.
She was.
And I feel she was totally right in possessing somebody and coming back for revenge. Totally down with her.
Her dress melted onto her body and she burnt alive on stage because some boy was bummed that she kissed somebody else.
Oh, yeah, she kissed somebody else.
Which is like fair. Be bummed about it, but don't set her on fire, you dick.
And then he became the principal of the school.
Right. Just because I want to be in that murder scene every day.
It's a great movie. We're not
No,
doing
it is a lot of fun.
We should actually cover that on the podcast.
We really should. Because
totally
that's magic.
I love
fits.
it.
Okay,
It is
that's
awesome.
the next one.
Excellent. Okay, so when young girls test themselves by summoning Bloody Mary, they encounter an archetypally resonant, symbolically rich, iconic figure, a seemingly mythical symbol of womanhood in both its stigmatized, rejected, and powerful aspects. In fact, in archival accounts and interviews I conducted, she had been conflated with various other powerful and brutally victimized feminine figures, symbols, and legends and characters.
Mm-hmm.
The tragic and abusive anti-mother like La Llorona, the executed Mary Queen of Scots, the suffering Virgin Mary, a burned witch victim of the Salem witch trials, and various other female victims of abuse, murder, insanity, or self-afflicted tragedy. She tends to subsume all female ghost and witch-related motifs and figures as she appears in proliferation of variants. I don't know what the last thing means, but I guess it means it could also equally be Mary Lou from Prom Night 2.
Yeah, it is.
But it was just interesting because it's right. It like is kind of conjuring like everything from the victim aspect of femininity to like the power witch aspect. It's really cool.
And here we are just pooping our pants at school trying to Bloody Mary.
That's the interesting thing about everything, including my own experience. I'm sure we've talked about this before too. Bloody Mary always kind of starts at school.
Yeah, in the stupid bathroom with the lights off, and you're like, some tall blonde girl's like, "Can you?" And you go, "Yeah, I can. But I gotta go pee. Like, you do it first." That was me. I was like, I gotta pee first.
I just remember doing it
like,
at school, but it was like so bright because of the windows. I was like, this is irrelevant.
Oh, no, I think I talked about it before on an episode where it was like the bathrooms at the elementary school were in the middle.
Yes, you
and
did.
so it was like
dark.
all black.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not cool.
Yeah. So yours would have worked better.
I'm sure it would. I was peeing because I was like pretending. I was like, I got other things to do, but I was like, too scared.
Right?
I still have a whole list of foods.
Let's sidebar this academic stuff for a while.
Academia of Scaryforkids.com.
Yes, I love this website though so much.
I hope
Scary for
someone
Kids.
turns this into a drinking game and does a shot every time we say Scaryforkids.com.
That's a great idea.
I'm gonna go back to one of my snack lists.
All right, let's hear it.
Sodas.
Sodas, yes.
Sodas.
And what
do
kind
you
of
say?
soda?
Pop?
Interchangeable. Interchangeable.
Interchangeable. All.
Is this light language?
Number 3 is like a 7-Up or a Sprite or a Big 8 lemon and lime. Number 2 is an orange. Number 1 is the sweet nectar of the Dr. P.
It is medicinal. I mean, in theory. Oh, that was a crisp sound. I like that. Taught me up too, actually.
Do you have soda preferences? Or did I break lists down a little bit too much?
No, I love that you did that. Dr. Pepper's my favorite. We talk about it a lot in the podcast.
Yeah, that's true.
It is a potion.
It is.
And speaking of potion, the only other soda I have on my list is Swamp Water, which I know we've talked about before.
Yes.
Which is an amalgamation of your choosing, but predominantly, what would you say, like root beer, orange soda, 7-Up. It's like a very nice combination of all the sodas.
Sometimes if you're at a wild party, they have grape as well as orange, and you're like, fuck yeah.
It's awesome.
Light it up.
Yeah. So a good Swamp Water. When I started dating Dylan, he was listening to a couple episodes of our podcast. It was when we were talking about that, but we didn't explain it immediately.
Oh,
and so he was just
people
like,
just thought you were drinking swamp water from a local swamp?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it didn't last very long.
That's so weird.
But I was like, that must have been a really weird moment for you.
Yeah, I just assume everyone knows what swamp water is.
I know, me too. Is it regional? Or like...
It can't be.
No. Chime in and let us know.
Swamp water. Sorry, okay.
Or maybe they called it something else in other places. Who knows? But.
Oh, if they do, yes, I care about that. Tell me what that is.
That is hot button information. I'd love to know.
If you mixed all of the sodas, what did you call it? Number 3 are hoagies.
Good idea.
Number 2, Chinese food.
Excellent.
And number 3 is pizza, quite obviously.
Hoagies, though.
Big fan.
Totally.
Fan. When I was younger, really young, so back in Ontario, I was like 7 or younger. We did not, like, my parents didn't have a lot of money, but I had no idea. Friday nights were fun night because it was ABC, right? TGIF.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so we would watch TGIF, and it would be like when we have bad food, because my mom literally made every single thing that we ate. I think it was on Oprah somehow. Maybe it's not right in my mind, but like I feel like there was an episode of Oprah where it was like, here's the Big Mac secret sauce. So like we'd make our own Big Macs and tacos or whatever, but we'd have hoagies sometimes, and it was like one of the most perfect things, because then we'd finish it up with a root beer float.
Talking about snacks, though, one of the things I did find on my awesome research of slumber parties, which is there's kind of like this interesting world of people that document old newspaper articles about slumber parties, to which there are a lot.
Okay, I'm so what?
Yeah.
What?
So I was trying to figure out how long slumber parties have been around, and I kind of ended up just going by newspaper stuff to come to find that it's probably started in the early 1900s. However, for some reason, newspapers like documented this. So I screenshotted one, but there's several.
Why?
Look, slumber party held for divide girls at Jean Moore home. So this is a Seawater Reporter article from 1950. Which
what
was
the
a paper.
fuck? Like, why? Okay.
Right? So this was a paper from founded in 1879 from West Texas. This is the article. It was actually printed in the paper.
This is really cute.
Jean Moore entertained divide girls with a slumber party on Thursday night. Records, games, and singing were diversions. Refreshments were sandwiches, cake, Cokes, potato chips, cookies, candy, wieners, or was it candy wieners? I don't know. I feel like 1950 it could be either way.
Yeah.
Marshmallows, hot chocolate, and popcorn.
What a fucking time.
Right?
She knows how to do it.
5 girls who spent the night were, and then they straight up say the girls' names.
Oh my god.
Janine, Jewel, Mary, and Nancy Alexander. And then it just goes on to say all the rest of the girls' names. So this was a newspaper. Can you imagine?
No wonder she had to do such a spread. Somebody was there to write an article about it for the paper.
She's like, make sure you get the good popcorn.
Do you want some more hot chocolate, Marv? You gonna write me a good review in the paper?
Right? So I found this blog, if anyone's interested in this odd subgenre of old newspaper articles about slumber parties. slumberpartyhistory.weebly.com, which is the history of slumber parties, and it's by Madison Borth, a librarian with a passion for slumber parties and reading old newspapers.
Oh my God. Thanks, Madison.
She cites her sources, and they're all just random newspaper articles, just like the one I showed you, that tell all the people's names that were there and the food that they ate for the most part.
That is so weirdly beautiful.
So weirdly beautiful. But also, isn't it kind of equally as weirdly beautiful to know that times haven't changed and we're still eating the same slumber party?
Yes, candy wieners. That is actually very sweet.
Here was the other article. I'm not going to read all this one in full, but this is a legit first page article in the Sunday Star from Washington, D.C. from 1956. And it's about a slumber party that they did in a school.
By Fifi Gorska.
Yeah.
That's a handle.
Yep. And they talk about like what they ate and how they tried to stay up late and how they did laps to stay awake. And there's some pictures, like, I'll try and add these pictures to the show notes too, but it's just really interesting. This is a whole genre, that just like people having newspaper articles of old slumber parties. And there's also a shortly lived Instagram page called Slumber Party History.
Ooh, yeah.
Which they do their own drawings, and I don't think they're active anymore, but it's definitely worth checking out because, again, like, they do drawings based on old newspaper articles about slumber parties. So I was just like, this genre is amazing. It's old-timey, right? Mm-hmm. So I just picture like the dad going, did the paper come today? I have to see what they had at the slumber party.
Gotta check the stocks in the slumber party.
Let's do movie stuff.
Okay, I feel like I saw something on your list, and if it's on your list, I'm gonna be so pumped.
That's hilarious. Which one do you think it is? Should we go in order?
So I'll do my honorable mentions are urban legends.
That's a great one.
Fun. I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Solid.
Because fun.
Also fun, yeah.
Practical Magic.
Hell yes.
We had to. Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Doing those dance moves.
Also just singing all of it, quoting every single bit. The Fly. Surprising, because you get like a good half of a movie of a super hot Brendel fly.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get a whole bunch of body horror.
Yeah.
So it's great. And Gina Davis the entire time being beautiful.
It's got anything anyone could ever want.
Yeah, really, though. Young Frankenstein.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
This doesn't really count as one, but Slumber Party Massacre 1 and 2, because they offer different things, and they're great. They're both great. Because there's a girl that eats a pizza off of a dead guy, and they're like, what are you doing? She's like, I eat when I'm nervous.
I remember you referencing that because
so
you were
great.
like, that would be me.
Yes. My last 2 honorable mentions are Army of Darkness and Mallrats. So it's just
Yeah.
basically me wanting to quote a movie in a room with other people.
Again,
That's all.
pretty ritualistic. I like it.
There you go. Chanting. You want to go one for one?
Let's do one for one. So Can't Hardly Wait from 1998.
Oh, shit. That's on my list as well.
Such a good one.
It is a great one.
It's a party one. It has like
so many different dynamics.
Right?
Like so many different characters.
so many crushes.
Yes.
Like dude,
Seth Green.
Seth
Honestly.
Green, Ethan Embry, Lauren Ambrose, Romeo and Juliet, 1996.
Oh, shit. Wait, I'm Scream.
Oh
'Cause it
shit!
is
Okay,
fun.
that yeah,
Romeo and Juliet.
yeah,
That's a pretty good one.
so good.
Rock and Roll High School.
Okay,
Because that is nothing but a good time. Riff Randall is fun.
The Legend of Billie Jean, 1985. Dude, I saw this movie for the first time like I want to say like 2016, and it legitimately broke my heart. I didn't see it when I was a kid.
Oh, really?
It was so powerful, so good. Talks about some pretty touchy subjects, but like in a powerful way that's helpful.
Okay.
And it's a great mall movie. Like there's so many mall scenes.
I'm into it.
It's great.
What is it? Legend of...
The Legend of Billie Jean.
It's My Boyfriend's Back.
Oh, so good.
Right? So good.
That movie definitely
So
did
good.
some stuff to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so great.
In
And
a
I
great
don't
way.
think anyone really like gives it enough.
No one
Love.
cares about it as much as
What's
we do, I think.
the mom is so great in it. She's also the mom in Parents. Did you ever watch that
Oh
movie?
shit, I did watch Parents.
It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah. Matinee.
I still haven't watched it.
I thought you were gonna say that.
No, I haven't watched it. I don't know how to do it. I have like 18,000 streaming sites and they never have it.
Okay, if anyone out there knows how you can stream Matinee from 1993 with John Goodman,
Yes.
let us
One
know.
of the loves of my life.
And also, Erie, Indiana,
Cat?
isn't it? What's his name?
Cat.
Katz. Omri Katz.
Omri Katz.
There we go.
See?
We know what's up.
We're
So good.
getting there. Okay, my number 8 is Grease 2, and I think I saw it on your list.
It's on my list also.
Yeah, because we both want cool riders.
Cool riders.
Cool riders, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Is
Yeah.
that... Wait, where are you? Number 8 or 9?
I'm number 7 will be the next one I tell you.
Okay, you go. Number 7.
Holes from 2003.
Woof, that is one I did not see coming. I've never watched Sigourney Weaver, though, right?
Is she in it? It's been so long
That's what
since I said
the
Shia LaBeouf is in it.
Yeah, the internet told me because I looked up
Oh yeah, because
Sigourney
I think
Weaver
she might
the
be a
other day.
bad guy in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because for some reason I woke up with the image of a T-shirt that just said "property of Sigourney Weaver" on it, and I was like, "Well, I have to make that now." Okay. Wet Hot American Summer.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good.
Such an
party
epic
time.
cast. Yeah. Love it. The Duff.
Ooh, that was
2015.
a potential on mine, but
I love this movie so hard.
It's-
You know that.
I watch it all the time.
It's so good.
I own it. I was like, no, I'm gonna go to Walmart and buy the Duff.
It's amazing.
It is so. I love her so much. She's
Mae
so
Whitman?
enchanting.
Love
and
her.
also, she has a tiny, like a necklace of a tiny little baby. Like the pendant is a tiny little baby. And I've ever since watching that movie, I like fucking desperately want a replica of it, and no one sells it. It's like, come on, internet, get your shit together. My number 6 though is Monty Python and the Search for the Holy Grail.
All right.
Because again, another real big crowd pleaser.
I'd probably tap out and go to bed at that point.
What?
Yeah, I can't do those movies.
What? You can't do something with nonstop hilariousness? That's fine. That's fine. Number 5.
I'm sure people out there are really excited. I'm sorry, I can't be one of them.
It's fine. I'm judging you deeply, but it's
That's
fine.
okay.
No, I'm kidding.
Speaking of judging me deeply, this is hilarious. This is not going to be for everyone.
Okay.
Jesus Christ Superstar,
Whoa,
1973.
still haven't seen it, but I love this for you.
Dude, it is such your aesthetic, though. You
I
would
know.
love this movie.
Okay.
It's like such a whims. I mean, it's also dark because, of course, like it's the whole Jesus story, but like it's such a whimsical musical gem of a movie.
All right. I'm into it.
When I had my, I used to do sleepovers when I was a kid with a really dear friend of mine, and her parents were super religious. So this was one of the movies that they were like stoked that she always wanted to watch. And I just kept watching it. I was like, how come like the guy that plays Jesus is such a babe, and like all these rebellious things are happening? These songs are bangers. Like I didn't say bangers back then,
But yeah,
but like they were like, it's just so good,
Mm-hmm.
so fucking good. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but like if you're into that sort of like 70s vibe,
for the most part, the only one I've tried to watch Tommy a couple of times, and I'm like, shh, you gotta dial it down, who? But
oh, I like that one though.
it just, I think it's more Anne Margaret. I don't have a lot of time for Anne Margaret. Anyway, all right.
That's fair. That's fair.
My number 5 is Empire Records.
Hell yeah! I thought about putting this one on my list too, but then I was like, you know what? It's been too long since I saw it. It just didn't feel. But it is such a great movie.
It is so great.
So deliciously wonderful.
It gives all of the. It has a really great cast. It gives you enough drama, jokes. It's
the cast, everything about it. Empire Records for sure. All right, so number 4, Grease 2, which was on your list too. Cool writer. I mean, what would they say if they knew it was Michael? Like that is such a good movie. I can't even handle it.
I've watched some YouTube things lately of people being like, was it maybe judged too harshly? Maybe it's not that bad of a movie. It's like, yeah, it's not that bad of a movie. It's a lot of fun.
It's so
just
fun.
It wasn't Grease. Also, just Michelle Pfeiffer.
Right?
Sign me up for any Michelle Pfeiffer of the time. She's just perfect. My number 4 is Crybaby.
Speaking of Grease 2 energy.
Right?
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
great
yeah.
choice.
So there's a couple of scenes and things, random things in movies and stuff that like stick in my brain forever. And one of them is a scene from Crybaby where they break the kids out from the orphanage. The scene that freaks me out is like they take the kids back and they put this old lady in one of the glass displays. But for some reason, she's on one of those old-timey horses on springs
Right.
or whatever. And
Yep.
she's like, oh, let me out of here. But just for some reason, how it's framed, the tone of her voice, and like her shake out, it like is
Creeped
like,
you out?
No, like shivers down the spine. Number 3. What's your number 3?
Ever After, 1998.
That's such a good one.
Yeah, it's very like romantic and like old school, but like very, very great Drew Barrymore stuff.
Very great. I remember one of my favorite parts is like when her and the prince get caught by like the thieves or whatever in the woods, and they're like, you can leave, you can take whatever you can carry, and she's like, can I like hold you to that? And they're like, yep. And she like puts the prince on her shoulder, and they're like, no, come stay, drink and eat and hang out, you're cool.
I think it was, I want to say YM, if you remember that magazine. It was a teen magazine from when we were probably in grade 7, 8.
Yeah.
But they had these postcards like for advertising, so I would just like, I would love to try and collect them and stuff. I thought they were like pieces of art, because like that was like, I don't know why, but that movie was really cinematic for a kid.
It
like,
was. It
yeah.
really was. Well, and they set it up so beautifully from the beginning to be like, I'm going to tell you the real story.
Yeah,
about the
it was kind of like
Cindy
a
girl, and,
grittier version. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was very beautiful.
Yeah. What's your number 3?
Oh, Can't Hardly Wait.
Hell yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
because that's for sure like a go-to. It has
So
been
good.
and it will always be.
The Final Girls is my number 2.
Oh my God. I love it so much.
We have to cover this as a movie.
We really should. Oh, also, I don't know if I've told you this before, but I play a game with no one else. No one ever plays it with me. But when a song comes on the radio, if you can identify it from a soundtrack, from mostly movies, but TV kind of counts, like Say It Out Loud. It's so much fun to play by myself, and
that
the end
I
of
definitely
that.
would
But
play it by myself as well.
Anyway, I was at work the other day, and Betty Davis' Eyes came on, and I came out, and I was like, Final Girls! And I was like, no one cares. But...
Dude, if I think about that scene in Final Girls where they play Betty Davis' Eyes there, I can't think about it too long, or I literally start to cry.
It's so beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
Even like really what's happening is so outrageous, so stupid, so great, so hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like, it really is touching.
They made this like ridiculous concept, but also wonderful concept just seems so like you're there in that emotion.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, you know what she's like, you know what's coming, and you're just like, oh.
Which honestly is really impressive. Within the first 15 minutes of that movie, I was invested, believed. I was like, yeah, this is happening. Yeah. Which, considering the plot, is fucking outrageous.
I know.
Because I slag other movies for being like,
Yeah.
That's not believable. No one would do that for basic stuff. They wouldn't open a door like that. Stupid things.
Fair.
But this, I'm like, yes.
This movie is literally flawless to me. I have to say it's probably one of my favorite movies, honestly. It's so good. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is not perfect, not good
Okay.
in any way, but boy, is it fun to watch with people. Showgirls.
That's actually a great one.
So much fun. So I've only seen it once.
Right.
And it was probably a couple of months ago.
Right.
But a friend came up and we always watch movies together. And she was like, you need to watch Showgirls. Like, Rachel, come on. And it was unbelievable. Never watching it and knowing so much about it. I watched Drag Race. They quote, it's like Michelle Visage's favorite movie.
Right.
So it's like, I know everything about it. And I was like, it'll be kind of boring because I know all of that. Nope. It's ridiculous.
All right. So your number 1.
Oh, my number 1?
Yeah.
The Boybs.
The Burbs.
Burbs.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Everyone out there, just watch The Burbs.
I called the pizza dude. Every single part in that movie, and I think I told you before, and if I can find it, I'm going to give it to you, and you should put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
Because it's literally someone writing down, I forget how many, but like 300 reasons why The Burbs is the best movie ever. Like, in the opening credits, when there's like a paper boy coming and throwing papers, there's just a quick shot of him throwing a paper as Tom Hanks comes out with his fresh cup of coffee in the morning. The kid throws the paper and almost hits him. And he just has a moment where he's like, ah, and throws his fucking coffee. Not the mug, just like the hot coffee at the kid. And just like 2 seconds of that. But it's just like, that was a great choice to do.
Mine is Scream, which I don't know if we can even... Sorry, Scream 1996.
The OG.
Yeah.
Did you watch the new one?
I watched the new one. It definitely was working with a little bit of the same energy, but it just it didn't get me there.
Couple of things. Super bummed now that there is no longer any Sidney Prescott in any future incarnations of Scream.
Yeah,
Neve
I feel
Campbell's
like I might
stepped back.
Yeah, I think I might boycott it from.
I was like, I don't need anyone but Sidney Prescott.
Hell yeah.
No, Sidney.
Stop trying to make me care.
Sidney.
Yes, exactly.
That's it.
Exactly. Yeah. I wanted to like it, and I kind of liked it.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. There was some really good parts, and it definitely gave me that Scream vibe.
Yeah, it definitely was working with authentic like energy there for sure from the original, which I appreciated. But I just can't commit to going forward knowing that Sidney Prescott isn't going to be in it.
Why? What the fuck is like? What's the point? It always goes back to Sidney.
Let's get to the comments. We posted on social media, for anyone who might not have been following this post, that we're actually running a contest so you can win Moldavite if you commented your slumber party memories or slumber party top 10s lists, or faves. Anything slumber party related. If you commented under this post, we counted it in the contest. We're going to read some folks' slumber party adventures here. The first commenter actually, and the first one is from Tris. They say, I distinctly remember the first slumber party I had with 2 of my old friends. We were in my basement at my parents' place, and we were much too young to be dipping into the alcohol. But we got super wasted and sat around laughing about life, school drama, and crying about the future and the struggles we were facing. At one point, my mom came down because she heard my friend throwing up in the unfinished part of the basement. I put on my best straight face and told her that she was throwing up because she dipped too deeply into my Easter chocolate stash. Somehow she believed it, as far as I know, and it was still the story we told whenever we would come together. We've grown apart since then and parted ways, but I still cherish that memory. By the end of it, we'd taken so many drunken photos and had so many memories to last a lifetime. I love that.
That is so precious.
Then we have Vicky C. 1985. I love 1985 related stuff, so already I'm on board.
My year.
Every sleepover started with a trip to the bulk barn for treats. Hell yeah, Vicky C. That's exactly what ours did too.
Unicorns.
Yeah, unicorn popcorn.
That's so precious, though.
Then to Blockbuster for a scary movie.
Yeah.
Dude.
Are you the same? Are you Vicky? Vicky!
Right? Oh, sounds like we would have done sleepovers with Vicky for sure. Yeah. This is all our vibe. We'd watch it in the basement with a ton of blankets. If it was a multi-night sleepover, we would fill in the second night with leftover treats, gossip, books, and video games. Multi-night sleepovers!
Like, oh my dude, I think maybe I had one or something in my life. Maybe.
They go hard. The next one is from Tanya, who is 3 Nature 3 Lover 3. She's referring to her mom, who would tell them scary stories before bed.
Mm-hmm.
They were mostly cautionary tales to keep kids from exploring too far from home after dark. One story was about a little girl with no legs. They called her Click Click Slide. Do you remember this?
No.
I do. Because of the sound she made. Her nails were grown out long to drag her body around and look for little kids to steal legs from.
Fuck.
The sound she made when she was clicking with her nails and sliding her body. So click, click, slide. And if you were out in the dark and you heard that, don't turn around. You have to run home. I remember this story. Click, click, slide. I do.
That's so gross.
The details might have been a bit different, but yeah, that's creepy AF.
Stealing legs? That's some old school Hansel and Gretel, Brothers Grimm shit.
And just like the audio of it, like...
Yeah, no, not into that.
Right?
I don't like it.
No, thank you. But dope mom, like telling these kind of stories. I kind of love that.
She's gonna just take your limbs, and I'm gonna cut them in, fill them with sand.
And she also goes on to say, every slumber party I had, my mom came to the living room where we all camped out to tell us to quiet down. Mm-hmm. We thought we were quiet, but she had bionic hearing, and her whispers kept her awake all night. Why she let me continue to have sleepovers is beyond me.
Because she's a nice lady.
She sounds like a really rad mom, though.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so they're keeping me awake. I'm going to go tell them about a person with no legs.
Click, click, slide. They're going to steal your gams.
Then we have one from Benedict Ava. Ava says, a bunch of us were over at a friend's house with a pool. We were celebrating the summer, and our band was doing a local performance a day or two later. Oh, cool. She has a band.
What?
I love that. Tell us about your band.
Yeah.
That sounds rad. A few of us were taking a nighttime swim, and we decided to play a version of Marco Polo in the water. I was it, and my eyes were closed. I had just come up from the water, and I was disoriented, so I thought I heard my friend in front of me. But I was already at the edge of the pool when I lunged, so I hit my throat against the edge. Yeah. They all made sure I was all right, and I was, but my voice was ruined for the night. I sounded like if a newly pubescent boy was also a chain smoker for 20 years.
Oh my god. What do you do in the band? Are you vocals? Because that fucks you.
I'm going to say vocals because the ending of that is luckily my voice healed in time for the show.
Oh, okay.
But that is definitely a core memory from a sleepover. I'm guessing.
I do want to know the band info.
Yeah, that would be rad.
Yes. Because keep in mind, all I'm picturing is Riot Girl. So.
Right? Yeah. Same.
Yeah, okay,
totally.
Cool.
Are you Kathleen Hanna?
Yeah, Kathleen.
Next, we have Anna Thomas 52. Just short and sweet. I love it. During a slumber party, I love watching old Disney Channel original movies.
Oh, shit. Yeah, like Halloween Town.
Oh, yes. Yes. They had some killer original movies. I mean, they still do, I'm sure. But
I went down that rabbit hole. We have Disney
Plus.
Yeah. And like once I started down, I was like, holy shit, there's so much content.
Yeah.
So much content.
Yeah. So the next one is, I'm going to pronounce this handle wrong, I'm sure. Danielle.
Okay.
Is the name. Okay, so Danielle says, depending on the friend, we do our tarot and oracle cards. Oof. Yes.
Okay.
For sure. Paint our nails, face masks, wear our PJs. Mm-hmm. We get drinks and snacks, watch our favorite movies and shows. Sometimes we'll take my cat for a walk at night to get out of the house. I love that. I wish my cat went for a walk.
I really tried to take it out for walks.
Not having it?
Because she would always like be at the door and like try to go out and stuff. I got her all the gear and
not having it. That's probably, that's a really interesting point.
That's so cute.
It's so casually written here.
Yeah, like I'm just walking my cat.
No big deal. But that is an effort because I would love to walk my cat.
I tried a couple of times and got it on, but for the most part, anytime I tried to put her harness on, she like just ripped my hand apart.
Yeah.
And I was like, great.
Was not into
but
it.
My hand would get stuck in it. So I would be stuck to her and she to me, and also she'd be ripping me apart. And it was like, what a beautiful experience.
Like, this is what I had in mind for memory.
Wow, this cost me $40 in random things from Amazon.
Right?
Like, cool.
But you could use that story when you play Cat Scratch, though, which is great.
And then it cost $40 on Amazon. Catch scratch.
Next, we have The Witch on Highland, Chrissy.
That's pretty dope. Okay.
And The Witch on Highland says, my sleepovers were mostly with my cousin Sarah, but we always had a great time. We would order pizza, rent movies, stay up half the night talking and reading stories from Maritime Mysteries by Bill Jessam. I remember reading this post. I really want to check out this book now.
Maritime Mysteries?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Okay, continue.
On my 13th birthday, I had a sleepover with her and 2 other friends, and my mom showed us how to play light as a feather, stiff as a board. Hey, another awesome mom. Which was very spooky with only candlelight. Yes, please. I like all these moms that are getting into like the fun time rituals.
Would I be this mom? I feel like I would.
Shaylin 06 writes, I'll never forget the nights where me and my friends stayed up learning all the words and dances to High School Musical, the movie. That's so sweet. Oh my God. It's something like we would do to Rocky Horror. For sure.
Absolutely. But it makes me feel so old.
Totally. But like, it's good. You asked, are people still doing it? Here they are. Keeping it real, keeping it alive. Plus some battles on our Nintendo DSs.
Oh, fuck.
Continuing with the Nintendo again. Keeping it alive. And if we were really lucky, we'd get to go to Blockbuster to pick out even more movies and snacks. Hell yes, Blockbuster trips for the win, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, these times are still unmatched to this day. I miss those sleepovers. Yes.
Same queen.
So true. That's perfectly said. Oh my God, my words are slurring.
Do you want water?
I think I'm going to get a glass of water. All right, so actually we're getting to the end of our list here, I think, nearly. Yeah. Okay, so Courtney Strickland 898 says, okay, I'm going to read this verbatim. I might have missed one of Courtney's other posts, but hopefully this makes sense. Okay, Courtney says, I had a sleepover with, okay, it is me. So Courtney Strickland 898 says, I had a sleepover with some close friends on Halloween night. We weren't the party type, so we decided to watch a scary movie. Hell yeah, Courtney, this is our vibe as well. Little did I know I was the only jumpy one of the group, so they decided to play a big prank on me by all leaving the room one at a time and then proceed to knock on the window behind me as much as they could. Oh. Long story short, their prank worked and it became one of my favorite memories to laugh about to myself later. That's
so good.
Handled like a boss.
I remember reading that and being like, that's so mean, I would never. And then probably like a couple weeks later, I was at a get together with friends. And one of my friends' like husband was like, do you remember the time you used to do this to Belinda? And I was like, no. And I would literally did that. I'd like go behind her in the window and be like, yeah, like a fucking piece of shit. And she would like legitimately be freaked out. And I'd be like, have a beer. Like an asshole. From GKH Boudreau, Lovely Human. Says, I still have a cassette tape that my friends and I recorded during a slumber party when we were 10 or 11. I can't tell which would be more mortifying, listening to it now or putting it in a cassette player only to have it chewed up into a mess of reel because it's too old. And I have to say, I found a tape of my friends and I made in high school. I remember the day vividly. For some reason, it was a core memory for me, but when I tried to listen to it, sweet Fauk, I couldn't. And I broke the tape, and I was like, yeah, so cringe.
You get really repulsed by the sound of your own voice.
And I was fucking saying and how I was saying it, and I was like, I'm cool. No.
Dude,
you
we
were
all
trash.
We were all the same, though.
Yeah. But no, the other friends seemed nice and normal and saying nice, normal things, and I was being a fucking piece of shit. Banging on glass, equivalent piece of shit. And it was like, well, why do people even talk to me? Crumble into trash. Anyway,
look, we all have to learn and grow. So
I was the dummy that put it in the tape player. I could have just left it and been like, oh, memories of that.
Yeah,
but it like burnt me on the inside, and I had to trash it.
You can't not watch it though. You can't not check it out.
Last one, Seaweed 15. Also, good humans.
Good.
I once had a slumber party that included watching The Leprechaun.
Hell yeah.
And underage drinking homemade wine. It ended with a friend screaming and crying in the bathtub, drunkenly terrified of leprechauns.
So last entry we had was the Book Whisperer 36. We might not seem as pumped because we really loved this, but we thought we were recording it, but it actually stopped. So the Book Whisperer 36 says, "Oh wow, I remember the fun times that I used to have with my cousin, more like a sister. She would come over on the weekends. We would go to this place called Pioneer Video where you could rent 7 movies, VHS, LOL, for 7 days for $7.99. I still love that.
Okay, so I feel like there was a thing in town that was similar, so I do have a heart connection to that.
We would get 1 liter of Pepsi and lots of treats, which included pepperoni and cheese pizza from the best pizza around, The Wheel. So we have to Google The Wheel. I have to know more. We would play games of girl talk and watch movies. Ouija board would only come out when my grandmother went to bed. Winky face. I still have my old girl talk game, and I'm happy to say that I have these funny nights with my daughters. I do love that she's carrying the tradition.
That tradition.
That is awesome. Keeping the slumber party tradition alive with your daughters. I love it. So now we are going to draw for our moldavite giveaway. So everyone who's entered the contest that we've read their slumber party story is on the spinning wheel, and we're going to go ahead and do it.
Exciting.
Do you want to push enter?
I get to do it? You did all the work
and to spin? Yeah.
I get to do it?
Just click to spin. We'll see what happens. I guess you can click anywhere. Yeah.
Ooh, that makes me so happy. Brenda from 90210.
Brenda, the Book Whisperer 36. The last story we read is the winner of our moldavite giveaway.
That's so cool.
So
congrats, my dude.
Yeah, congrats for sure. Hopefully you're listening to this. Reach out to us to get that. And if not, we will just have to reach out to you because we just hope you've heard this. But congratulations. We'll get you the moldavite for sure. And it's actually pretty dope. I brought it because I had it stored at my apartment because I wanted to set it aside. But it's really not a joke. Like, this piece is $440 retail.
Fuck off! Congrats, Brenda!
So
that's $440 worth of shit from space smashing into the earth and making crazy stuff that's gonna change your life forever.
It's a huge piece of moldavite.
That's a huge piece!
Yeah.
Brenda, I'm serious. It's very large. That's what she said. But it is.
It's true.
And I'm not touching it or anything, so don't worry about that.
No, it comes in its own little case,
it's
which is
its own
pretty
little
rad.
case, and I'm just looking at it, and it's as big as my thumb.
Yeah, they're probably the biggest moldavites we had, but because of the demand for moldavite, of course, it's blown up, right? A piece like this used to, before it blew up, before COVID, all that stuff, I'd say we could sell this piece for, like, retail. It would be, like, maybe $200.
Wow.
Now...
That's insane.
Yeah. This is the first time we've been able to get moldavite in the store for 2 years.
That's insane.
Yeah. So.
Holy shit.
Very, very nice piece of moldavite for the collection.
Brenda.
Right?
Brenda.
So I did want to add, because of course it's like pretty hardcore. Know that if you are still hopeful to get a piece of moldavite in your collection, but are legit troubled by the price tag, which we are for sure, Ray is brainstorming some moldavite infused products for Blackheart Arts. So be sure to follow her on social media or her website at www.blackheartarts.biz so you don't miss that deliciousness. And also, Calling Corners will be doing a giveaway in the upcoming weeks on social media for another piece of moldavite.
Oh my god, because you guys are the bestest humans ever.
Well, we want to put it in people's hands, and it's kind of hard to buy something for $400, and we don't want to be selling it for $400. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of a drag to have to do that. So this gives you at least an opportunity to try and win a pretty rad piece again. So for the people that entered that are still interested in moldavite, just keep your eyes out for the giveaway and for other infused products that Ray's going to be putting.
I'm very excited. Hopefully at Christmas time that will be available.
Good stuff. Yeah. I kept finding all this stuff on liminal space, like the word liminal kept coming up with slumber parties and stuff like that. And if you guys can hear that like weird feedbacky sound, it is my computer just legit telling us to shut up and go away. So I'm sorry, there's not much else I can do about it right now. Yeah, I kept hitting on this word liminal. So the term liminal, where did I get this quote? Oh, okay. So I got it from one of the papers that I read by Annalise Ferris. She said, "The term liminal refers to a space or condition that is in between, that occupies a transitional or indefinite state. The slumber party, an important rite of passage-like event for pre-adolescents, females in particular, is liminal in its nature due to the fact that the participants are, first, staying at a location that is temporarily their home, and second, because of the age of the participants, primarily 9 and 12. So it's very liminal. And I just really got drawn to that because liminal space is something you work with in witchcraft a lot. I just wanted to point out that there's a great article on liminal space by Ritual Craft that I'll put in the show notes, just talking about just what it is and how it's worthwhile in magic and stuff. And it's written by Samuel McCabe. And just to quote him, he said, "Liminal space is the concept that is integral to our spiritual work and is also ever present in our mundane lives. We encounter the liminal when we cast a circle, perform a lesser banishing ritual of a pentagram, when we meditate, shapeshift, or any time we enter a transitional period of our life." Samuel McCabe is a visual artist and an educator and a tarot reader for Ritual Craft. I'm going to put that in show notes because it is really worth the read. We are at the part of the sleepover where we cannot stay awake.
And it's just like surreal because we're in the store.
I know. And also, and hence
surreal.
a liminal space. We're in a store that is closed and in theory no one should be in, but here we are partying.
It's kind of beautiful.
It is kind of beautiful. Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Coven Slumber Party podcast. You can reach us at the Coven Slumber Party podcast at gmail.com. Our show notes can be found in the Calling Corners YouTube channel. If you're new to the podcast, we'd love for you to subscribe to it wherever you listen to your podcasts. There's no initiation to join this coven, just an energy exchange of your time for some nostalgia and maybe some good local pizza recommendations too. Sincere thank you to all the folks who played along and shared their slumber party memories and favorites with us. Hearing from you gives us so much momentum to get these podcasts out when life gets way too loaded. You keep us accountable to our passions, and we are endlessly grateful for that.
Cat scratch.